Once again, it's time for the Team Lift podcast with your hosts, Brandon Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Let's go ahead and get right into the show. All right, everybody, this is your boy, Roderick McDaniel, back in the studio with the grouchiest man in the world. What's going on, brother?
Hello.
Oh, Brandon, I love you. I love you, man. You guys heard that hello, and if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know the grouchiest man in the world is in grouchy mode right now. Because I've given you the business for 10 good minutes. He's heated up for what we're about to do.
No, not at all.
Okay, we got a guest here tonight with us, JD.
What's up, guys? Hi.
This is my homie. I love JD, man. She's on the show with us. This is a very special episode of the Team Lift podcast. This is our Suicide Squad special.
Woo.
So we've all seen the movie, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
We all got opinions on the movie.
Oh, yeah, we do.
All right. We're going to get into those opinions. And plus, for this episode, I've had some people write us. We're going to be reading their letters online. They've told me it was cool. This is about to get tense. I can tell already this is going to get tense. So let's just get right into it. First of all, I'm just going to say this. DC finally did a movie that I liked. And I liked it a lot. So that was the first thing that I thought was important about this, because everybody that listens to the show, you know how the grouchiest man in the world feels about Batman versus Superman. Brandon, can you go ahead and give me that soundbite description of Batman versus Superman? What's your description?
I'm going to go ahead and quote Suicide Squad here and say that it's 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag.
Okay. And Brandon, your favorite line, and what was so funny, when they said that during the movie, I almost got kicked out because I laughed too hard, because that's been your description of BVS since we started doing this show. You've always said 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. And I was like, fuck, is Brandon writing for DC now?
Yes, I am, actually.
This son of a bitch, I know where he's been on the weekends now.
Somebody threw that in for you.
I love that line. So I will start with you, because you are the toughest critic of DC movies. Tell me what you think.
It could have been better, but it was not bad.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was quite shocked whenever you told me you weren't like, you didn't hate it.
Pissed about it?
Yeah.
No, blew me away.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking, like, when I came out the movie, I think I did that video post to my Facebook page, and then I called you.
Yeah.
And we talked, good God, 20 or 30 minutes about the movie on my drive home. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't want to spoil it, but there's this, there's this, there's this. Then I think the next day you and I went and watched Star Trek.
Speaking of spoilers, by the way.
Oh my God, before we get into this.
Yeah.
This is your last chance to turn this episode off if you have not seen this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to get into it.
We are about to spoil the shit out of this. So if you watched the movie, which I know a lot of our listeners have because they've blown up our email this week, we're going to talk about it. This is spoiler alert. This is your last warning, because we're about to really get into this, okay? All right, great. Are you gone? You're still here?
Yeah, if you don't like spoilers, fuck off now.
Yeah.
Go.
It's your own fault if you're past that. Okay. So, I want to ask you something. Now, I'm going to break this down, because, Brandon, there are certain things that you and I have talked about, so I'm going to ask you this. As far as the character development, how did you feel about it?
There wasn't any time for, like, a lot of character development. I mean, they developed Harley's character and they developed Deadshot's character, but that's about it. They gave sparse backstories on the rest of everybody. Mm-hmm. They didn't have enough time. This is again, that quote is valid for this movie. It's 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. There's no time in this film unless they added another hour to it to really give a backstory for everybody. And that's their fault for not spending the last 10 years like Marvel did actually building a universe. Like, they could have had a Flash movie 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that had Captain Boomerang in it to introduce that character. They could have had a Superman movie. They could have had a Batman movie. You could have introduced the Joker, Harley Quinn, Deadshot. Like, all of these characters are having to get introduced in one film all at the same time. There's a lot of them, and the whole front half of the movie is just loaded and moves very, very quickly and has a lot of stuff that it didn't need. Like, they could have completely taken out the whole let's go to the fucking prison and demo everybody's powers. Like, we didn't already see them, like, in the last 10 or 15 minutes before we did this, when the movie opens with Waller telling the gentleman about the team that she wants to build. Mm-hmm. You know?
Did you feel that same way, JD?
So it's interesting that you should say that, because a lot of people thought that the first act of the film was the strongest part of the film, and that the second act was where everything started to get kind of weak.
No.
But what I think was, I really liked the fact that they brought in these superheroes as a band of people, because DC, what they do right is villains. It has it over Marvel, hands fucking down, right? And I think that it was a fun idea for them to do the Suicide Squad and kind of introduce all of these guys, and then later have it where they could have those independent films where these right here are the bad guys, making a bigger focus on the bad guys and not the heroes. However, I'm with you 100% on it is so crammed. Like, Batman versus Superman should have been a 5 series. Like, it should have been number 5 in the films, right? So Man of Steel, and then have another Superman movie, have a Batman movie, have something with Wonder Woman, then have that. So it felt like everything was in it. But Suicide Squad's fun. And there was a lot of things at the beginning that made me want to go back and watch it again, because I felt like I missed part of it.
The other problem with the first act is just the fact that they literally don't bother to introduce a character at all, and then give him a 5-second intro, which immediately lets you know that that character is going to fucking bite it. He's dead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they weren't even slightly trying to hide that fact. I mean, everything was leading up to it. So.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. You kind of knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, it was predictable, but it wasn't predictable to the point where, somebody felt like they needed to have, like, they weren't trying to hide it. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't like, oh my God, they totally revealed something that was building forever and ever and ever. And so, yeah, he was the one to literally get sacrificed. And that like, hey, look, this is real. Let's move on with life.
Yeah, and that was okay. That's funny that you both say that, because that was one of the things I liked. Like, when the movie starts, we kind of get this whole thing where we're like, hey, here are the villains, and this is what the villains are going to do. And I'm thinking at that point, once we got that, I need nothing else.
Yeah,
I see what they're going to do,
and I get the motivation behind it. So if they have the sacrificial lamb, right, who goes out to and doesn't survive, they're bad guys. They're going to try to escape. Okay, now they're in their cage. Yeah. Right? This is a thing for them. This is real. It is a hurdle for them. This is why they're not just attempting to run off. Right. And it's actually from the comics as well. So I appreciated that. Yeah. It was a hat nod to it. So I thought I liked it, right? The whole thing, the whole experience for me was a lot of fun. And I slept on it, that night, and kind of thought before I said anything whether or not I liked it. And with Batman versus Superman, I walked out of there being like, I want to love this movie. I really want to. And the next day I was like, I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, I went into this one because I think that's been the big thing on the show, is that everybody's kind of listened to me say, hey, I skipped over Man of Steel. Then I skipped over Batman versus Superman, where I'm a huge fan of the entire Christopher Nolan Batman run. That's my penultimate favorite Batman. I love what he did with that show.
So you like him as Batman, though, right? So you prefer Christian Bale as Batman?
I prefer Christopher Nolan helming the films.
I love that. That's why I wanted to have that clarification for you.
I love that Christopher Nolan took the films and he made them this amazing trilogy.
Oh yeah, no, they were fun. They made sense. The plot was good. It was shot well. It was dark. They are not my favorite Batman movies, but I actually am a huge fan of Batfleck. I think Ben Affleck is great, mainly because he makes a fucking amazing Bruce Wayne, and that is one of the greatest parts about Batman, is that he's two parts of the same piece, right?
Oh yeah.
So Superman's always Superman, no matter what. He's always wearing the suit.
He's a Boy Scout as Superman. He is a Boy Scout as Clark Kent.
Absolutely. Wonder Woman's the exact same way. She never takes it off. Batman has to, right? Bruce Wayne is his costume also, because he has to be that entrepreneur that's in everything, right? And then once he puts the suit on, like, he's this masked vigilante. But in the Batman versus Superman movie, that bothered me the most is they had no justification of why Batman all of a sudden had no problem killing motherfuckers, right? It was a big thing for Batman to not kill. He didn't use guns. He didn't kill people. He just took them down, left them for the cops, and moved on with his life.
This is entirely true, though.
But this is so far into the canon.
The entire comic book series. Now, okay, this is where we get into this thing. And this is where I really get pissed. As a guy that collected all these comic books from the 70s through the 80s, the entire story of Batman and the Joker's relationship was that the Joker always crossed the line that Batman would never cross. And it was that thin little line that at any time Batman could have crossed that line. Joker kept giving him reasons to cross the line and finally kill him. But the thing was that he stayed in control enough to never cross the line and kill. That made the whole Batman mythos for 20 fucking years.
Yeah, amazing.
Batman.
Yeah, and he never used a gun because
that.
his parents were killed by them.
But if you go back to the original incarnation of Batman, he ran around with guns.
You're talking about the 1940s Batman where he did have...
Yeah. He literally ran around and shot
1940s
people.
1940s Batman had
He killed people, like he kicked them out of fucking windows, he shot them, like...
But there's a lot of times that you'll go in and you'll look at old comic books and they're completely different than the people that you fell in love with.
You remember the Phantom, the character with the gun?
Yes.
That's who Batman was in the 40s and 30s.
I don't
but that
disagree
wasn't
with
fun.
you guys, by the way. I'm just saying, like, it's not outside of precedent that Batman would kill people, because Batman has killed people in the past, and he's chosen to not save people, and they've died. Those kinds of things do happen.
And that's one of the reasons why people, I think...
I do think it
relate
was
to
fucked up that he just started whacking motherfuckers left and
In
right.
fact, that
Yeah,
was
and
one
there
of
was
your
no-
biggest complaints.
Yeah,
about
and there
the
was
movie.
no justification for it. I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on with Batman? What I liked about him as a vigilante was that he never crossed that line, so it was never an argument. I mean, obviously people were against him, but as a fan of his, you never really felt like he was trying to do good. It didn't always work. He'd put people in asylums because why the fuck would he let Joker live if he didn't mind killing people? And the Joker having that over his head of being like, the way I'm going to die is by you killing me, and I will have ultimately won, was like the greatest mind fuck of all time. And when this was going on, I was like, is Joker dead in this world already? God damn it.
Actually, that's the thing, is the Joker could be dead, and the Joker that we're seeing could be Jason Todd.
But here's the
I
thing.
mean, there's
They've
a lot
already-
of there is rumor bills
Yeah,
going.
the rumor mill is the fans that want that to be the story.
Here's the thing, though. If you look at the Joker, on his shoulders, he has here and here, like on the left,
Looks
the
like
top
two
left,
bullet wounds.
looks like the 2 bullet wounds. And if you look at the promo pictures and stuff, I mean, it's in the movie, but there's a scene where they show Robin's suit, and it's completely like spray painted,
And it's got the
and
two
in the
bullet
shoulders
holes
it
in the
has the
shoulders.
2 bullet holes.
I mean, it very
So-
well could be a nod to
And
that.
Joker has the clearly a bird or a robin on this. Was it his right arm?
Yeah.
I think it's the right arm. There is a tattoo that you can clearly see in the movie. So I see where people want it to be that. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be the first time that DC's retconned something into a movie because of fan demand. But right now they're saying, oh, that's not the story. This is the Joker. Now, here's the thing that fucks with me about this. Because when people say, the Joker, he seemed like a gangster.
Well, yeah.
I
What
love that about him, though.
Fucking book did you not read? Because here's what I think is happening. I think there are certain people, based on their age, that we have different takes of who the Joker was. Now, me being born in 71 and collecting comic books from the time I was 5 or 6 until now, I have knowledge of the Joker being a 2-bit thug and gangster. That's happened. So when people tell me, oh, he's a gangster in this, or a gangster wannabe, I was like, you've watched way too much of Batman the Animated Series, and you think that that's the entire
that's
life of the Joker. Where that is a great Joker representation, and we're not saying it's not. That's not the be-all, end-all for the Joker as this role that they gave him.
I
I
agree.
think the problem with the Joker and Batman versus Superman and the Joker in this and the new Joker essentially is just the fact that they wanted him to be consorting with those types of people as a gang leader. And so I think that they thought that if he didn't have tattoos, that he would look out of place when he's interacting with someone like the guy who comes to talk to him at the bar, who's literally got
Oh, God, yeah, Common.
tattoos all
Yeah.
over.
That was,
Common.
I almost
Yeah.
didn't even recognize the rapper Common in that scene when he came in. I was like,
Yeah, I was
big
like,
black guy.
I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, we're in Hills and Wheels right now. Like this got transported. One of the things that I think people love about Batman's world is that every one of his guys represents every one of his villains, and him represents like mental illness almost, right? And this Joker is completely different than any that we've seen in a cinematic kind of view. Typically they go for something like the animated series, and I think that was why a lot of people were hesitant about being excited about this Joker.
Oh, God.
But oh my God, like he stole him and Harley stole the fucking movie for me. I wanted more of that. Like, I was like on the edge of my seat whenever like those scenes would start. And I'm a huge Harley fan. Always have been. Hate every rendition of her outside of the animated series. Didn't like her in Batman, the Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, all of those. Just thought she was really fucking annoying. Didn't really even like a lot of her comics because they started afterwards and they tried to change the character up a little bit. Mm-hmm. There's been a couple that I liked. I liked Mad Love because she was very much the original character in there.
Yes.
She was smart and she was goofy, but she wasn't dumb. And they play her off as being dumb in a lot of ways. I did not feel that this character was that same way. She was smart. She even like psychoanalyzed one dude. I'm probably fucking that up a little bit, but like
psychoanalyzed.
Yeah, psychoanalyzed somebody in the movie while they're running around. That shit was great. I was like, yes, because she's still a doctor underneath all of that, and they did not fuck up her storyline.
Everything I loved about this movie, and I'll say it right now, there were things that Brandon and I know. I collected the entire New 52 run. I had a lot of the Suicide Squad from the 80s. There were things that I was going to be personally invested in. One, they stuck with Harley's origin story from the animated series.
Yep.
Which, to me, whether I'm a feminist or not, I've always loved that story the most because, to me, this was a life she chose.
Yep.
She fell in love with this guy, and she chose to go on this crime path with him. The New 52 fucks this up horribly, taking nothing away from Scott Snyder. He's an amazing freaking writer, had one of the best Batman runs in comic history. But for them to make it to where she was forced into it, I did not like that of the New 52. I always hated that you took something from her. This was a strong, independent woman. She was a doctor. She was intelligent. She chose this life. Well, she was always on the line of being unhinged.
Right, and a lot of people, that's the thing. That's all about that line and that delicate balance of choosing your demons versus, staying true to yourself. And she got into it because she was fascinated. She was so fascinated, she fell in love with it. And then she wanted to be a part of that life. And that was why the Joker was there. The Joker loved her because he was obsessed with her. He just wanted to own her more than anything else, which is, I think they did such a good job showing that in this movie.
Yes.
That, it was not a relationship goals, ladies. Let me just put it right now. Do not try to find yourself a Joker. This was not necessarily a good thing. But the fact that she was obsessed with romance and love, and she saw this obsession as being such, is such a fucking microscope on so many people being in bad relationships and not realizing the difference between them, that it really is. It makes you kind of go, that dude was just an asshole.
Yeah, no, that's been the beauty. He's a sociopath. He has no problem abusing her. He has no problem pushing her buttons.
But nobody else better.
Oh yeah, you better never disrespect her. I may treat her like shit, but I will kill you if you disrespect her. That is their whole relationship. Yep. And I felt this movie, out of everything, they got that right.
Yeah, they
did. They nailed that.
They did. And as far as the other characters, I don't know them as well. I didn't like what they did with Killer Croc. He just wasn't big enough for me, and I wanted him to be a bigger character. Again.
Like, bigger physically because he kind of looked weird when he took his shirt off.
Yeah, bigger physically would have been helped. I like the fact they didn't mess with CG too much. People complain about it.
They should have just made him 100% CG.
But his background story is really interesting, and I liked how, I loved him in the Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
He was fantastic. I would have loved to see more of that in this.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Boomerang was hilarious. He was definitely one of the more comic relief ones. I would have loved to see more of him.
I hope we actually do see more of him when the Flash movie comes out. I hope they could do the Flash movie and give me Flash's rogue gallery. So I'll be happy.
Yeah.
You give me Captain Cold and Captain Boomerang, and we will be a great movie as far as I'm concerned.
He looks great,
I can tell you how they're going to screw up the Flash movie right now. They're going to try to do Gorilla Grodd.
All right, so everybody
right out the gate.
Someone record that. Timestamp that.
Oh my God! You know what I do every time he says something, and then what pisses me off about it is 2 months from now we will see something to confirm this, and I will hate Brandon for 2 weeks. We won't record for 2 weeks because this will come to pass. And every time he looks at me, it'll be like, "Fuck you, Brandon."
God damn it, you were right.
The tendency at the moment, and I think that the problem with a lot of what DC's trying to do is they're trying to do too big too soon. They don't know how to steadily start at the bottom and slowly raise stakes. So
that was one of the things you said before, but I felt like this movie was the most subtle of all the DC movies we're probably going to see.
But again,
I
the whole
agree,
world
actually.
was being threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were going in to go eliminate a threat that was threatening the entire planet.
Right.
Like, how is that not just as big as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman having to kill something that's threatened that will kill everything on the planet?
Well, see, here's the
Like-
thing. Like, I agree with you there, but they were also a threat. So it was like two threats happening right now, right? There's the one that was the immediate danger that they needed to eradicate. And then there's the one, the potential danger of if these guys got free and got back out on the street, right? And I thought that was a neat dynamic. As opposed to, like, rooting for the hero to kind of take down the thing, you got to root for the bad guy. And it was okay.
It really was.
And, like, that's what everybody wants. They want to root for the bad guy.
That's what I'm saying, though, is
films
like
Scarface and they root for the bad guy.
So it was more focused on them and less about the impending doom.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, when they do the Flash, they're not going to go small. They're going to go big. They're going to come out, and the first thing that they're going to do is his ultimate nemesis. So
Of course.
it's either going to be Gorilla Grodd or it's going to be the Reverse Flash. And they're
So-
probably not going to want to do the Reverse Flash because
Shit,
it's
they
been
might
done
put-
to death already on the TV show, and they're probably not going to repeat that.
Yeah, but they might put
did
both of them
Grodd
in
on
there.
the
Yeah,
TV
they could.
show.
They could.
Because if Doomsday and Lex Luthor are in the same fucking movie,
They did Grodd in the TV show, but they did Grodd subtly, and they moved Grodd to another planet. Like, so he hasn't been a thing for a while. So I'm gonna put my money on Gorilla Grodd as being what they're gonna do, and they're gonna do it too big, and it's gonna seem silly, and they're not gonna have a decent backstory. Like,
Well,
if
maybe
you're gonna
they'll
do a
learn
Flash
something.
movie, they need to start with like someone who's a minor character who's only doing something that's not going to take over the whole world, but maybe threaten the city.
yeah,
And that's the problem.
everything's
Is they're going to go, well, he's supposed to be a superhero. He's got to save the whole world, right?
If they really want to do this right,
They did it in
just
Green
give them this
Lantern.
rogue
They
gallery.
did it in
all six. Give them all six villains, because you realize all six set a plan up. This is in the comic book back in the 80s, where all six of his rogue got together and said, "Hey, we keep getting defeated by ourselves. Why don't we work together to try to kill him?"
Yeah.
And that's where you had the Trickster, the Boomerang. You had Boomerang. You had Captain Cold. You had all these guys come together. The entire team of his rogue gallery decided to get together. They could do that film, which, let's face it, they're all minor villains in the first place. And you could give me like a Sinister Six version of Flash as his intro and origin story, and I'd probably still be like, okay, I'm cool with this.
yeah.
I could live with that.
They just kind of
they're
jump
not
into
going
things
to do
too
that
fast.
though, because unless they decide to jump forward in Flash's timeline, because before Batman versus Superman, the Flash is not the Flash. The Flash is not putting on a suit and running around.
Right.
He doesn't do that until after the events in Batman versus Superman, apparently.
Right.
Which
Based off
means
of what
that
we've seen.
they're going to be starting on ground level. So how is he going to have a Sinister Six like group coming after him unless they set it way in the future and it has no connection to what's going on right now?
Yeah,
and
but
they're not
we
going to want
had
to do
Flash
that.
from the future appear in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
And I got to see what they do with him in Justice League, because we still ain't sure about that one.
That could be his origin story.
We will come back to this. We will come back to this. But I will tell you this. On the Suicide Squad tip, this is one thing that you and I bitched about. Well, I bitched about it, and I was so happy to be so fucking wrong. Will Smith as Deadshot was fucking awesome.
Oh,
for
I
me.
loved him. I mean, he was great. I loved everything he did and everything he said.
It was a classic Will Smith
It was
role.
great,
It
yeah.
was like, give me Bad Boys Will Smith and let him just chew up scenery.
Oddly mixed with like Independence Day Will Smith,
And it was great.
Yeah, it was so good.
You were...
They did a good job. I mean, he did a good job in the role. I kind of wish that they would have gone with somebody else, but again, they got Will Smith because he's a name and that brings people into the theaters. He didn't do a bad job. He still was just Will Smith the whole movie.
I'm okay with that,
Will
though,
Smith
but
being
I'm
Will
okay with
Smith,
that.
And we paid money to
didn't-
see that Will Smith.
I'm not against that though. I love
I
me
didn't
some
want
Will
After
Smith.
Earth Will Smith to show up, and I'd have been like, "This is some bullshit, Will. I'm really tired of giving you second
Pursuit
chances."
of Happiness, Will Smith, like
yeah.
break your heart style. No, I agree with you on that one. So for the movie, for all intents and purposes, I think they did a fantastic job casting. Mm-hmm. I thought they did a really good job with acting. Everyone did a phenomenal job with the roles that they had, even though one of them's head just blew off and they didn't really say anything. And I thought they did a good job directing. I felt like there were just huge holes. Like they edited the fuck out of it.
Oh yeah, there were some weird ones. In fact, when it
jumped
comes
around.
to acting, Nicole Tackett, good friend of ours, Nicole wrote and said that one of the things she was upset about is, I haven't heard anyone mention how great Viola Davis was. Amanda Waller is a badass lady, much more brutal than any of those so-called villains.
No shit. She was ruthless.
That's the thing is, like, that's Amanda Waller. Like, that's the way she is. Yeah, she does not give a fuck about anybody.
My brother said
at all.
something
and
so
then she
amazing.
did a good job with that.
Yeah.
He said Viola Davis kills every role she's in. He said she's the supporting actress in The Help, but we know that's her movie.
Yeah, no shit.
He said everybody else was the supporting actress to her. That was her film. And I said, yeah, Viola Davis, she just commands the presence in any film she's in. So whether she's on TV with How to Get Away with Murder, or whether she's on The Help, or whether she was Amanda Waller, I don't think anybody had any doubts that Amanda Waller or Viola Davis was going to step into this role and she was going to kill it.
Yeah, she definitely was a huge piece of, I think, the success of it as far as setting everything up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, her breakdowns, man, it's so good. Like, I really admire her performance.
Oh, yeah.
Why did they have the scene with Batman and Viola and Waller at the end? It made no fucking sense. He already has this information. He got it out of Lexus database. He doesn't need information from the government.
I think it was
I
a
totally
threat.
disagree with this because that's one of the things we talked about.
Okay, but I mean, I could see it being he wants more information about the Suicide Squad and what she intends for it.
Yeah.
And to basically be like, bitch, we come wreck you if you fuck shit up.
Yeah, it was a threat.
That was basically what it was.
Yeah.
He didn't need any of that information. It was just him showing up to threaten her.
I think he more wanted to know what she knew and then took that information and said shut it down.
But he already knows that info. Like,
He
Let
knows
us go
it,
back to this
but he didn't know she knew it.
because somebody else hit me with that
they
same
could
argument.
have they could have cut those scenes where he got all that information out of LexCorp. They could have just cut it out of Batman versus Superman and just done it in this film, and it would have been more impactful in this film than it was in Batman versus Superman.
I agree with that, though.
Hit you with two things. First thing, I felt that scene at LexCorp should have been a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me
and
too.
it could have still stayed in Batman vs. Superman. Should have just been a
But
post-credit
it
scene.
would have been like, we're just going to do the same post-credit scene in two movies?
Then this one's, here's the thing. And let us, like, I've watched every episode of when, the Justice League show was on TV. The cartoon, that was an amazing cartoon. One of the things you remember is from the episode where him and Amanda Waller go back and forth. There were several episodes on that Justice League cartoon where Batman and Amanda Waller kept kind of bumping heads. And one of my favorite things about that Justice League episode was that he comes to her at one point and she knows, hey, he collects all this information because she tells him, I know what you've been doing. We've been keeping tabs on your boy Bruce Wayne. And she's never made the connection who they are, but she tells her, we've been keeping tabs and he sure seems to be interested in the metahumans. I thought at that scene, when they do that, the first thing that pops into my mind is, oh crap, we're calling back to the Justice League cartoon? Is that what we're doing? Because that was a direct reference to that episode.
It would have been a lot better had he gotten information out of it that he didn't already have.
Yeah, because we see
you
look in there, we see Enchantress, we see Flash.
We see Flash.
And we saw Aquaman.
We see useless information in Enchantress, and then we see Aquaman and Flash. Two people he already has information on. He's already got information on Cyborg. He's already got information on...
Is there such thing as too much information?
There's
because
not a
that's
such
one
thing
of the
as too
things
much
that makes him
information,
so beautiful.
but I think they
he's
missed...
always collecting.
They missed a golden opportunity to introduce other heroes that have not been introduced yet.
Oh, yeah.
He could have opened it and had Oliver Queen and then flipped the fucking page and Green Lantern, John Stewart, or Green Lantern, fucking whoever the fuck they wanted to. They could have introduced other heroes that they haven't introduced yet who aren't going to be in the Justice League, but who are there.
It would have been nice to establish them in the cinematic universe.
It's just a golden opportunity for information because she's been building a team of metahumans, which means she's going to have a lot of information on not only the people that she's already gathered together, but other people that she hasn't tapped yet because they haven't been caught.
Then, Brandon, I'm about to call you on your bullshit, and here's why.
Why?
One of the first things you said to me that you were pissed off about Batman versus Superman is that there should have been a post-credit scene. Mm-hmm. And like Marvel movies, the post-credit scene sets up the next film in the row.
Yeah.
Now, that post-credit scene pretty much just sends us straight to Justice League.
Yeah.
We can walk
but
right
we've
out of that
already
and go
been
into
sent
Justice
straight
League.
to Justice League from Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, but I still
That's what I'm
think
saying.
we're
It's
still
like
sending it back to Justice League.
Further down the line. give us
I
more
felt it was.
further down
I
the line.
agree with you that it felt redundant and unnecessary for them to do it. I like to think in my mind that it's less about Bruce Wayne trying to gather details and more about him trying to see what they have because of the fact that she's making this the Suicide Squad.
I think,
and he's not okay with it.
And he
I
tells
think
her
that
to
was
shut it
He
down.
says like shut it down.
No.
I love that one.
Here's what I think happened. I think that scene that was in Batman versus Superman, where he gets all that info, I think that scene wasn't actually in the original cut of the film. I think that that's something that they added later on, and that the scene that we saw at the end of Suicide Squad was already in that film and was going to be in there, so it wouldn't have been redundant. But because they had Comic-Con coming up, and because they knew that they were going to do the Justice League anyway, and they knew all this other shit was coming, they wanted to try to build hype into Batman versus Superman for what was coming up after that.
That very well might be the case.
It's corporate fuckery, which is screwing with the continuity because money.
Well, it doesn't seem like they have the same type of team that Marvel does that set down.
They don't
locked
have a
themselves
team.
in-
That's the other problem.
It feels like a lot of people going rogue.
Okay.
But as far as if I take Suicide Squad as its own movie,
Yes.
I fucking loved it.
As its own movie, I gave it I told everybody, it was an 85 out of 100. It was this was my B+ film that I've wanted Marvel to give me for a while. Mm-hmm. This was not, by any chance, the worst hero film. Because last time I checked, Fantastic Four still exists.
Oh, fuck Reed Richards. I'll go off on a damn tangent.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, that's the worst hero movie I will probably ever see. Suicide Squad was light years beyond that piece of shit.
Are we talking about Fan Four Stick?
You know how I feel about this damn fucked up film. we hate this film.
Anyway,
So,
I think what happens when they make these movies right now at DC is Warner Brothers is making films the way Warner Brothers has always made films. They have a concept for what they want the film to be. They give that concept to several different writers. Several different writers write different versions of that script. They all come in. They can't decide on one of them, so they just pick parts out of all of them, and then they cobble together a movie out of it, and then they shit it out, and it gets bad reviews.
As far as their process is concerned, I feel like they're trying to do something different than Marvel, and it's not working.
yeah.
And like, I get that they don't want to have the same process.
They don't
want
to have to wait to build a universe.
Which
they
is
want
fine.
a universe ready-made for
But
them.
I will also say that DC has some of the best animated movies out there.
Oh, yeah.
Their
And
animated
shows.
universe
Oh, yeah.
is amazing.
It's so good. Fucking stick with that. Killing Joke, for the most part, sold out in most places because most people wanted to go see that shit in a theater, right? And that is awesome. And that is a deep, dark. It is not a kid's world. Marvel is, right? It's flashy, it's bright, it's got a lot of color, it's got some serious moments to it, of course, but nothing like what Marvel has or what DC is doing right now. I'm sorry. Batman is not a world you want to raise your children in.
No. I
Not at
want no
all.
parts of Gotham for my kids.
You know, kidding, right? Like, even the fucking nice places is fucked up. Like,
yeah, like, no, we can't live here. We can't deal with this universe. And that's the thing. Here's what gets me. Marvel's cinematic universe is very family-oriented.
Yep.
Very family-friendly. Marvel's TV universe on Netflix,
yeah.
that is the most brutal depiction of the Marvel. I mean,
It's amazing.
It is the Marvel Max line of comics exist on Netflix.
Yeah,
that is their
that's-
dark research.
Jessica Jones is not for the fucking light of heart. Like it is.
We dealt with rape. I'm just going to be honest. That if people
We dealt
really
with
break
rape,
that
yeah.
down, this man raped this woman
Yep.
in Jessica Jones, and he put her through some shit.
And you see, like, even the manipulations the writers had on us of, like, at one point in time, you're like, but Kilgrave really has good intentions. And then you sit there and you go, fuck, why the fuck did I just think that?
Yes.
Like, that's what happens to rape victims, where you sit there and you're just like, well, you know, he really loved her. You're like, no, this woman was taken advantage of against her will. That is not okay. What
That's
he
the thing,
does
though.
is
That
not
is
okay.
If you
kudos
go-
to them as writers.
If you go and read
It
the
is.
comics,
It is.
he never actually touched her in the comics.
He
What
made her
he
do,
did-
but it's a representation
I
of
know,
it.
I know.
Yeah.
But what he did do, which I think is more insidious, was made her want him 100,000%, and then never did anything about it, and then took advantage of other women in front of her while making her watch.
All of it is fucked
That
up.
is more fucked up
No, dude, he's like one of the most insidious. We talk about villains, and we talk about, hey, the Joker's a sociopath. Well, what the fuck does that make a guy like Kilgrave? Because that's really sick, and he's twisted what he does to her.
It's definitely like narcissistic tendencies, right? He's obsessed with himself, and he wants people to be obsessed with him, but he feeds off of it, and it never ever returns anything back to the person.
And he doesn't
who's
get
feeding
anything
off
out of it either because he's making it happen.
Yeah, which he hates,
Yeah.
right? So he continues doing it because he
hates
just
the
wants
fact
someone.
that he has the power to make people do what he wants, but he won't stop using it. And when he finally does find somebody that he does want, he's fucked it over so badly that he can't ever fix it.
That's the age-old tale, though, of like people not wanting to deal with yes men. It's why rich people find somebody who's willing to tell them, no, look, the outfit you're wearing is fucking stupid. It has that, like, nobody has willpower around him. So instead of him trying to, it breaks him mentally, and now he feels like he has to control everything. And he does it in a sadistic, fucked up way, where eventually he can break them mentally, where the only thing they can do is essentially bend their will. It's this horrible, crazy cycle that, like, even though I've never had anybody break my will down and make me do something that I didn't want to do while I was still conscious, like, that... I can relate to the fact that there's having, the desire to please someone who's trying to manipulate you, and then thinking, fuck, I just got manipulated into doing that shit.
Yeah.
God damn it. Get your own soda next time.
Yeah, because you start thinking, you played me.
You played me,
You
motherfucker.
played me.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a big example of this, right? Like, it's put on a giant stage, and it's played out really well, and there's a lot of times you're just like, man, Jessica Jones is a bitch. And then halfway through, you're just like, the bitch I want to be.
Yeah. I love her.
I love her.
I wanted to carry her child. I'm not even going to lie to you. And the whole thing that I loved, like in the comic books, her and Luke end up having a daughter together. And I thought the way they did it in the TV series to kind of just say, here's how that relationship started. This was not a fairy tale romance.
No, it's not.
There was something bad that happened that brought these two together, and they had to work through these to be the comic book couple we eventually see, in the Mighty Avengers series. But it was, hats off to them.
Hats off to them, and sure. I bet Netflix is killing it when it comes to shows. Like, we could go off on a whole thing. But DC
on TV.
And then here's the thing.
Killing it.
DC's
They should
TV
stay
universe
there.
is where they are family friendly.
Yeah, and they should stay there.
Like their family, you can sit with your family. They are the reverse of Marvel. DC's TV shows are very family oriented. This is a great place to bring your kids.
It's interesting. I never thought about that.
Think about it. But then their movies
Are the exact opposite.
Their movies are the Netflix.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you've got this right.
And they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is more family friendly, right? But as far as like Netflix and stuff, when it's dealing with the comic book characters representation, that you're right. It is dark, and it is not for the fucking light of heart. I mean, I love Punisher, right? Frank Castle was so fucking good.
Right.
But it was just raw and brutal, and that is the type of person that Batman isn't. He isn't like, I'm just going to go fucking kill everybody in this room right now.
Yeah, I'm going to fix this by killing everybody.
This is justice, and I've just served it, and you're welcome. That's not the way that he did that.
Batman and Daredevil, very similar characters. Daredevil, let's face it, outside of having this super hearing and just his senses are heightened, that's really his power. He's not really bulletproof.
He's not bulletproof, but he does heal faster than normal too.
Yeah, and that was because they did, and I felt like they retconned some of that because I don't really remember that from the 70s a lot, that he healed fast. Because I remember in the 70s he was always fucked up.
Because he meditates. That he's been taught a meditation technique that helps him to heal quickly.
From Stick.
Yep.
But, and I really, look.
I mean, he's fucked up throughout the whole goddamn series.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh my God.
He is that guy. Batman and Daredevil, I thought was a great comic book when they did those two together.
Yeah.
Because you saw the similarity of these two. But yeah, I think DC has kind of swapped their universes, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that.
DC,
if you're gonna do dark,
if I was gonna fix the shit that DC has done so far with their cinematic universe, I would just scrap their current plans. Just scrap them entirely, and then bring Greg Berlanti's universe, make it the main continuity.
Man, he's the Kevin
He's the Kevin Feige of the DC shows.
TV shows.
He's the guy who... Greg Berlanti is the guy who's the architect of all the DC shows. So Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, Flash,
He's
Supergirl.
also consulting on Gotham, right?
He's the executive producer on all of them. I don't know if he has anything to do with Gotham, but I think he does.
He's the one that I believe when we were talking our story about trying to bring Batwoman, and eventually Batman to TV, and he was the guy that's the go-between between Fox and Gotham and the CW. That's how I know that name.
If they just brought him in to be the creative head that Kevin Feige is for DC, and they unified all of their shit, and they did the things that Marvel wanted to do initially but hasn't done yet, and that's fully integrate their television crew casts with their films. So you're literally like, there's a story I think that we're going to cover soon, but basically the guy who runs the TV side of things for Marvel has basically said that there's not really going to be any more crossover between the movies and the television shows from here on out, because it's not feasible, because, you know, if the actor's got to be here on set doing a television show, he can't be over there on set doing a movie. If DC actually did it right and they figured out a way to bring the comic characters that they have on television into the cinematic universe and vice versa, like if Superman from the DC universe on television was also the same Superman that was in the films, and they went back and forth and they integrated things and they actually talked to each other and they fully integrated all the shows and all the movies together, they could make something fucking amazing.
So I don't think that that's completely out of the question. How many times have we had a Spider-Man reincarnation?
Yeah.
And they've, oddly enough, you're like, oh yeah, Tobey Maguire. I forgot that happened.
But here's the thing. DC has never lost money on one of these movies yet. Until DC sees a real exodus of people from these films, they're not going to budge. They're going to keep on with their fucking stupid plan that they've got right now.
Well, I don't know. With the ratings that they're receiving right now and the hate and like
they
the
received
heartbreak.
the worst ratings for Batman
But they
versus
made
Superman,
$150 million in fucking opening weekend on Suicide Squad with a 30% rating in
and Rotten Tomatoes.
On Rotten Tomatoes,
29%.
like what the fuck? Like they're making money hand over fist and they're feeding their crowd shit. Like until the crowds literally go, "Why am I eating this poo? I should not be eating this poo. I'm gonna stop eating this poo."
Me and Wonder Woman are a day one opening weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm there. I'm
exactly.
sorry.
Like, that's the problem.
Because that's the first. I'm sorry. It's
gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing.
It's
I want to see it, but.
Woman to actually, I mean, I'm so excited about there being a female lead, and I get that there's a lot of things out there and there's been other movies, but in this new reincarnation that's happening, I am so excited about
Wonder
Wonder
Woman I've wanted to see on screen.
Yeah, the original.
Since I was a little kid and there was a TV show.
Exactly.
There are redeeming qualities to the DC universe right now, but right now the two things that should be the redeeming qualities of the DC universe are not right. Like
honestly,
Batman and Superman are fucked up.
The movie that is going to make or break this whole thing for me, because I mean, yes, I did not like Batman versus Superman. I wanted to love it because ever since I heard that Ben Affleck was going to play Batman, I was fucking all in. I was like, he's going to make an amazing Bruce Wayne, and I think he's going to be great. He's got that look of like heartbreak down, and he's a fucking amazing actor. So I just knew it, right? And Jeremy Irons is like, you know, Alfred, like hell fucking yeah, I am in that.
I was one of those people too.
Batman movie.
Total waste of an actor in a film.
Well, there was just not a lot of
Jeremy
time.
Irons.
Yeah.
Put him in the movie 3 times for a minute.
But every time he did, he stole the fucking show. And he was the Alfred I loved.
Make it so that each one of the times that he's in the film, they're so far apart from each other that you forget that he's
but
even
more,
in the
We've never had a bad Alfred. Have you realized that?
We haven't, but they've all been different.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine kills.
And then we get Jeremy Irons.
Slays.
And we're just like, DC, you don't choose bad... all your Alfreds are amazing.
The Alfred that's on Gotham is really fucking good too.
He is. Okay, I have seen that maybe once or twice, but I've seen it.
He's like ex-SAS fucking British spy fucking Alfred.
So for whenever I watched the movie, just to kind of... There was a reason why I brought up the fact that Jeremy Irons and, you know, Ben Affleck were in this. I loved those scenes so much. I wanted more. Again, I wanted more Harley and I wanted more Joker. Fuck Metropolis. All right? Man of Steel was badass. I will bow down to that. Henry Cavill, have my babies.
Yeah.
But, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Let's leave it alone. All right. Let's go to Gotham for a little while with the way that they have built this, the characters, how crazy that would be, how dark it is, man. Like, and the way that Alfred was like talking shit to Bruce Wayne throughout the time. I mean, like, it was so good. And the fight scenes that he had, man, it felt like I was watching that video game, and like I was so fucking invested in it. If that movie comes out and it's shit, I'm done, DC. We're done.
They set the tone really well for Batman in that first scene where Batman shows up and the cops show up and he crawls up the fucking wall backwards.
Yeah, it's
and
so
then
creepy.
Goes like and just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the best Batman on screen ever.
The
like,
fight scene that he had when he got dropped
shit
in.
Where that makes you afraid of Batman. And that's something that no fucking movie has ever done.
Yep.
Batman has never been scary.
Series caught on to that idea that Batman is frightening to the underworld. This is a giant ass bat flying through the sky, kicking people's ass and breaking bones. That should be frightening to you.
When he crawled up that wall, I was like, "This is some scary shit." That was my reaction. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I have to agree with you. It was dark. It was gritty. Like every scene that they had of Gotham is how I envisioned Gotham. Fucking shitty.
Here's my thing, and I think the people that have kind of jumped on Jared Leto, Jared Leto was blah blah. He made me cringe. Look, let's be honest. Jared Leto stepped into a big role and into big shoes. Because, let's face it, God rest his soul, Heath Ledger is dead and he's never going to do that role again.
Fucking RIP, man.
Yeah, he's never going to do this role, so let's move on. Let's not wait for everybody to give us the next Heath Ledger. Let's judge each actor for each actor. So when they say, oh, well, he was a terrible Joker. I grew up with Cesar Romero, and then I got Jack Nicholson. Fuck you. Fuck you and the child that you will bear one day and the horse you rode on. Okay?
Bring the family into this.
I have put up with some shitty Jokers in my life. Jared Leto was not the shittiest Joker I've ever seen.
I actually liked that he completely owned it. I liked that it was a different take on it.
Yes.
He just, oh my God, he was creepy.
Okay, so
I wouldn't want to be in the same room as that guy.
Exactly. That's how you should be around the Joker. I don't want to be in this room fucking with this dude.
I don't want to talk to him.
He's crazy.
Don't look him in the eye. Oh shit, he's coming this way. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. I'm so dead right now. This guy would not care if he killed me.
Yeah, he's that kid at every high school that you're scared may shoot it up, and that's you. I'm not making eye contact with him, but if he needs money for a Snickers bar, I'm gonna be nice, but I'm never making eye contact with this psycho. Okay. That is how I would be with the Joker.
So like, I thought he was hot, and I felt bad about it. Like, that's what I mean. Like, Jared did a good job, in my opinion.
You have just said everything that's wrong with every woman I've ever dated right now. You're a really nice guy, but I would like it if you were like a little bit more psycho. And I'm like,
no, it looked hot.
Could
like,
you just get a tattoo right here?
No.
Forehead,
I'm not
please?
saying like the tattoos or anything like that, but the part whenever he was like, when they're in the club,
with the suit with the shirt open,
like he looked clean.
I know what you were saying, because there was this lady next to me in the theater, and when he came, and
Everybody
that
likes
scene
a bad
came
boy.
on, she was like, and I was like, did you just go at the Joker?
So the part wherever they're standing near the vats, and it's during Harley's like flashback to her like creation thing, and he asks her, would you die for me? And she goes, yes, and he's like, that's too easy. Would you live for me? And she goes and jumps in the vat. Like, both of them fucking look amazing in that scene, first off. Because she's got the hair down. She's not quite Harley yet, Like, she's on that cusp about becoming it, and she chooses to make that jump. That's what I like about it as well.
Yeah.
She made the choice to go there. He asked her.
He didn't
and
even
asked
have to
her
push
again.
her. She
Nothing.
jumped into that willingly.
Now, supposedly supposedly he pushes her in the comic and shit like that. But anyway, I like the fact that they gave it to her. Fuck yes. I don't even give a fuck. Like, if you're gonna be crazy, own that shit. And then he jumps in after her, and he's got his shirt open and everything like that.
Oh,
like,
God.
Jared Leto worked out to get his chest the way that was looking, and I'm just admiring what's there. You know what I'm saying?
gonna tell you guys,
I can't help it.
My so-called life, Jared Leto, was not on that screen. that was not dreamy-eyed Jared Leto. This was like, hey, Jared's been working on his ab game, Leto.
And like, anybody giving shit about like thinking that somebody in makeup, a dude in makeup, is not hot, all I have to say to you is the fucking movie Labyrinth. All right, like
I know men that
David Bowie
that
fucking
felt a certain way about David Bowie.
Yeah,
after that
you
movie.
can't help it, man. Like, if you look good in it, you look good in it.
Dance Magic Dance.
Yeah. And look,
Oh, yeah.
the Goblin King. When the Goblin King walks out, I was just like, that's the Goblin King.
He's got teased hair, and it looks good.
I liked him in Zoolander too when he said, "We're gonna have a fashion runway off." I was like, "Damn, David Bowie still looks good."
He still look good, man. You see him in The Prestige, man. He fucking that man.
I just hate that he looks so good every time I see him. I'm like, damn it. He
Right.
still looks good.
Right. There's just some people that do, and Jared Leto didn't look like him. That was one of the reasons why everyone was really enamored with Heath Ledger's performance. It wasn't Heath Ledger; like he disappeared into that role. Jared did the same thing.
But we wanted to complain. People
Yeah.
want to complain, but he did. He disappeared into this role. He
He
took that
freaked people
Joker
out.
thing and owned it.
Yeah, he freaked other people on the damn set out. Everyone who's talked about it is like when they had those scenes, they were legitimately terrified. That's amazing. Give him an Oscar for being just him for the day, you know?
He did it. For me, he did it. And I saw, hey, you took this character, you ran with it, you did a damn good thing. The character who I felt that, okay, let's just face it. Every movie gives us one character that becomes a household name after that movie. Civil War gave us the Black Panther.
Yeah.
It made Black Panther a megastar. This movie gives us El Diablo. El Diablo was the badass that I wanted El Diablo to be. Because when he gets to that part where he's always trying to be a pacifist, in the New 52, he ended up killing a rival gang. He set their house on fire and there were women and children in there. He always wanted to repent. This movie version, where he accidentally killed his own wife and children, I was like,
fuck.
Whoa, this is a lot darker. Yeah. And it works better for this character. But let's face it, when he gets to his badass mode at the final fight, you're like, yeah, okay, El Diablo.
I was kind of sad they cut the scene about the drinking out. You know, that they had in the...
Oh, yeah.
Like, didn't have that. It was like, that's a good choice, honey, whenever she was, like, giving out water and stuff.
Yeah, when he says water. Yeah, you're like, they could have did so much more with
that. Could you imagine him drunk? That is not a party experience I think you want to have.
Nope. No.
There is one character from the show that I was not a fan of at all, and that was the Enchantress.
Oh, yeah, she was...
Like, they CG'd the fuck out of her. Do you like that? Because that whole time I was like, man, her lip flaps aren't matching the words coming out of her mouth.
Her being a CG and her brother being a CG as they were was the reason why they didn't do CG.
They spent all the money.
Because they spent all the money on them too. Which
Croc
they should have just
good,
spent
though.
the money on Croc because that would have been so much better.
Yeah.
I just wanted more screen time with Croc.
I did like that they kept Katana the same from the comic book.
Yep.
That she was never really a bad guy. She was if you remember in the comics in the 80s, she was on Batman and the Outsiders. She was on his team in the comic book.
Yeah.
And I thought they kept that whole origin story of hers, which is not a deep origin story. I think the movie gave it more attention than the damn comic book did, that her husband was killed by that sword.
Yeah, and he's trapped inside.
And he's trapped inside of it.
So
the
she's
comic
going to
book
go
didn't
kill
go into
all
that
the
deeper
people.
story that the movie did. So I thought, okay.
And they
cool.
did have little nuggets of stuff, and there's things that reference back. Like, it's actually a fairly intelligent film. Like I said, I feel like it got edited to fucking hell. So, like, the product that was on the screen might not have been exactly what the original creators wanted.
What we're saying is that all DC Extended Universe films should just be released directly to Blu-ray where they can show the entire film.
The director's cut. We want director's cut. I would not mind the director's cut.
What I'm saying is, why not fucking release both? Like, who is not making that decision in their life right now? Like, I would go and watch a director's cut of any of Peter Jackson's films, knowing full well I'm going to be there for 5 hours, versus the theatrical version that's only going to be there for 3. Like, you can go take your fucking ass. They didn't do it the day of. So Alamo Drafthouse and people like that will release it and play it now.
Right.
But why the fuck didn't they do it day of? I'm telling you, I would have lived in that theater if that was what was necessary.
Because let's face it, director's cuts of Lord of the Rings were way... Like, Lord of the
14 and a
Rings
half
trilogies
hours,
were amazing.
and they still didn't have fucking Tom Bombadil in it. I'm still pissed about that, by the way.
I have a feeling if I bring up something, you're going to be mad about it no matter what it is. And you know what? I appreciate that about you.
So, jumping back to the Joker.
Let's get back on track here.
Scene where they're at the end where Enchantress is fucking with them, showing them what they want to see.
Yep.
Harley Quinn has this whole fantasy of her and the Joker being married and having 2 kids and having a normal life. When I was watching that scene, I was like, that's fucking Paul Allen from American Psycho.
Oh my God, I never thought about it. He
Holy shit,
totally
it is.
did look like that.
He had
He
the
is
hair
Paul
and everything.
Allen from American Psycho. That's Jared Leto. in both movies.
I'm okay with that.
But dude, that whole slick back hair and the suit,
Yeah,
it was
it was exactly what he wore as Paul Allen. The only difference was he didn't have the fucking suspenders on, I think, but he had the jacket on, so you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody wearing a suit's wearing the same thing as someone in a suit.
Yeah, but he nails that. He
it
you
does.
saw it and you went, yeah,
And
that's
again,
awesome.
I
I'm not
immediately was
not
just
against
like,
it.
American Psycho.
I thought was it Serial Mom? Did you ever watch that movie?
God,
right?
yes.
Like they still murder people. They just live in the suburbs.
And I think that they did that because, or maybe it was unintentional that it was that way. It just happens to be that way because of the scene that they were in.
Right.
But it still gave you the tinge of the Joker and the crazy and all of that, even though it was supposed to be a representation of normal life between them.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I can totally see where you were going with that. There was one
That
thing,
might have even been why they fucking cast Jared Leto.
There was one thing that you said to me that fucked with me, and it goes back to what JD has been saying about the editing. Mm-hmm. This has been the number one complaint you've hit me with this week.
The pacing is all fucked because it's all edited to hell and there's not enough
one
backstory.
scene that's so jacked though in editing. Dream sequence scene. Okay, everybody's seeing what they want to see.
Yeah.
El Diablo's waking them all up. She's showing you what you want to see, right?
Yeah.
Killer Croc's already gone down underwater.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so no, I know.
You know where we're going with
No,
this.
I know what was going on in that scene.
We know now,
I
but
figured it
when
out.
we were watching that in the theater, it looks like he is fighting with the cops that went down under the water with him. It does not look like he's fighting with those soldiers or the Enchantress soldiers.
Yeah.
It looks like he's fighting with the cops, and we were like, you just told the cops to follow you, and then the next scene is you swimming and the cops behind you, and then the next scene
They're
we
fighting?
get is
Yeah.
you fighting with
Yeah.
the
I
soldiers
thought
that went underwater? What the fuck's going on here?
they
I
didn't
did some research and I figured out that they're actually fighting the black-headed monstery things that she sends out after
Okay.
them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought there was some stuff under, like he's helping protect them so that they can do their thing, but he's
Right.
fighting the shit that she raised.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's because
Which those dudes look badass, by the way. I
He's
thought they did
fighting
Oh, yeah,
those
those were
guys
amazing.
so that the rest of them can actually blow.
Yeah, I was like the
brother up.
technovirus soldiers, whatever they were. They were amazing. But here's my thing, and I love this. Will Smith nails this scene for me at the first part where the Enchantress soldiers are running at him, and he jumps up on the car and he's firing the
yeah.
guns that are
The
inside his
wrist-mounted
wrist, and I'm just like, this is the scene from the comic book. I geeked out so hard when I saw that because that was a straight Deadshot pose. He's up
Yep.
on top of the car, one leg up like he's doing the Captain Morgan rum pose, and he's just firing everywhere. And I'm like, there's not a comic book geek in this audience that is not looking at this scene and feeling a little something right now.
You know, it was great. Like that was one of those pieces that was like, because the whole time I was like, do I like this? Do I like this? Okay, I like this.
Yeah,
Do
I
like
love this
And
at
that
this
was-
point.
That was like, I was like, okay, I'm a fan. I really am.
I really think they could make a Deadshot movie and we'd be like, I'll go watch that.
Fuck yeah, we would.
I'll go watch that.
One of the things that they've done a really good job with in Marvel is take obscure characters that you're just kind of like, okay, Iron Man's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Robert Downey Jr. is amazing, so let's throw him in there, and oh my god, it's like it's him.
It like totally revitalized his career. We're like,
man,
yeah,
that
I don't
guy's-
see anybody else's Iron Man except Robert Downey Jr.
You guys got any more of that Robert Downey Jr.? I need it. I need it.
No
I went
shit.
through those years with Robert Downey. I watched Less Than Zero and cried because I was like, this is an autobiography.
What is that
for
movie,
you.
Heart and Soul?
Oh,
Remember that
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
I watched that shit a lot when I was a kid. I was like, hi, Robert, how you doing?
Yeah. You're going through some things, Robert, and this movie's a little too close to home. I don't want you to be dirty on drugs, Robert. I loved, they did so many things right, and that was why, like, my buddy Damon Hazelwood, you guys know Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damon was,
Shout out to him.
man.
How you doing?
He totally fell in love with Harley. He thought they picked her perfect. Will
yeah.
Smith did a wonderful job in Deadshot. He said, in my opinion, these two characters really stood out the most. Damon, you're not wrong. They
No, you are. You're
they
absolutely
really
right.
did develop those characters. He was disappointed with the Joker, how he was portrayed. I always thought of him as a mad genius, not some thug with gold chains and a grill. Because of Harley, I can tolerate the new Joker. It would have been wonderful to see Ledger with her.
I mean, but like, then you'd have to raise the dead.
Yeah.
So
Trust me, I would not
That's
have
unfortunate.
complained to see, like, Margot Robbie and Ledger would have been amazing together.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that would have been an amazing combination.
But it wouldn't have worked back whenever it happened anyway.
Oh, God,
like,
no.
oh, Like, and also shout out to her for rocking her outfit. The whole time I was just like, oh yes, please, Harley.
Yeah, man,
Walk
she
away.
killed it. She kills it.
Oh yeah.
My favorite thing, and like in the New 52, they go on this mission, and there was in the New 52, they kind of established this romantic relationship between Harley and Deadshot. In the New 52 comic books, in the first 20 issues, they are about to consummate their friendship, and it gets ruined because people are coming to kill them. But there was always this sexual tension between Harley and Deadshot in the New 52 Suicide Squad. What I liked about it is because the team, they're all pretty much these villains. They actually do go on these missions, and they grow to a point where they start to care for each other as this surrogate family. I think the movie nails that perfectly.
The last scene with her.
Oh my God! With the whole thing, like where they decide, hey, we are going to go take out Enchantress in the bar, and when they come out and they see her, and she was crying on the car.
The part where she's like, I will raise the Joker. I'll bring back the love of your life. You'll be able to have him. Everything that you wanted will come true. And she sat there and she was just like, why are we trying to save these fucking people? Maybe we should join sides with her. And then she turns around and fucking cuts the bitch's heart out. Loved that scene. That was when I was like, yes. Because the whole time they're fighting, I was like, please don't let the women just be like thrown around. Harley kept getting hit and she wasn't really doing anything. And then that happened. She ripped her fucking heart out.
Harley kicks so much ass.
And she was like, don't fuck with my friends. Because one thing that she is fucking loyal. Always. It was one of her biggest downfalls as a character.
There's only one. If they want to do a Harley movie, the only person that they need to bring in for her to fall in love with is the other intelligent doctor in Batman's Rogue Gallery. And Poison Ivy.
Fuck yes.
Because that is the love of her life. That's the one person that treats her like an equal and like a human being.
They are giving Harley her own movie. I know that much.
So it has been discussed.
Yes. They are giving Harley her own movie. I don't know who else is going to be in it. They haven't said anything. But she's getting her own solo film. Maybe Harley Poison Ivy.
Look,
against Joker, because that was a big thing.
That was a big thing in the comic, because the Poison Ivy Harlequin comic book, it was like Thelma and Louise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we also know the woman. I mean, say what you want to. Oh, it's this lesbian relationship. It is a great relationship that's been built through. They've went through a lot of shit in the comic book world together. And they've really taken the time in the comic book world to develop these two women. And what does it say about Batman's writers that the two most educated villains he deals with that are both doctors were both women?
Well, and also Poison Ivy's done a really good job of being independent already.
Yeah.
And she doesn't change who Harley is. She just lets her know that there's a difference between love and abuse and obsession. And she shows her what love is as opposed to being abused. So she makes the choice to be with her as opposed to Joker. And it's great. It's such a good character development piece. I'd love to see something like that happen, because then you're using the romantic trope, right? And having a love story to tell the story and not just be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's love in this. So
because I don't tell you. And they can, she's a very complicated character. I think they've set it up well. Like I told everybody, hey, when I watched Civil War, we knew Black Panther was going to be the new badass of the Marvel Universe coming out of it. Suicide Squad set it up for us to go, hey, we could give you a Deadshot movie, and I would go watch it. We could give you a Harley movie, and if you do it right, I would watch it. But one of the greatest things that DC did with this film, and I don't care who this pisses off, was we took Zack Snyder as far away from the directing chair as we possibly could with this film. And by putting David Ayers, a guy who gave us a film like End of Watch, this guy has given us great films. It was a totally different film with him as the director. It was still a action piece like End of Watch, but it really told some interesting character studies of some people who, these are people, these are humans, and he really humanized the Suicide Squad, which they could have screwed that whole thing up.
Yeah, they didn't feel like metahumans is more just like extreme badasses.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously Killer Croc and then El Diablo.
yeah, they're badasses. But still my favorite thing, Killer Croc's last scene of the movie when he's back in jail. And that last scene of the movie.
The BET?
Yeah, I am just booties. So happy at that part. And he's just in the chair like, yeah, baby. I'm just like, that is the greatest depiction of that character for me now. I'm so happy for him.
And did you notice they were actually giving him real food too? He had a burger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. It wasn't any. I mean, there were so many things they did right. You said it. Brandon said something to me, and I knew they did it right. Brandon said, they cannot kill El Diablo after that. That explosion's not killing this man. He is a god in a man's body. They're not killing him with an explosion.
He's literally basically a god of fire. There's no way an explosion is going to fucking kill him. The worst that it did was it destroyed the thing that was in his head. So El Diablo's running around out there free. So we could get an El Diablo movie where he's actually a good guy.
Here's the thing.
That would be
he
awesome.
is still in the Suicide Squad. Because when he first got introduced, I think the first issue, I was like, this guy will not be here by issue 5. He is still a very intricate part of the team in the comic book, and he's going to be in their new reboot, in the Rebirth. They're doing, I hate this idea, Harley in the Suicide Squad. So I can kind of already see Rebirth is already going to try to put the focus on her instead of making it a team book like it always has been. Yeah. But he's on the front cover of that, and I was like, okay, there's Captain Boomerang, there's Del Diablo, there's Deadshot. I can live with this.
I think one of the things they did really well in this is make the characters more complex than just bad guys, right? So they made them relatable in a weird way.
Yeah.
And then the soldiers, I thought I was gonna fucking hate Flag, right?
Rick Flag.
I thought I was like, man, this guy's gonna be an asshole, and I'm not gonna like him. And I was just like, he's kind of endearing in a weird way. And then towards the end of the movie, I was like, he's one of the best characters in this thing. And like the love story piece was, again, it was just a hook, and I hate whenever they do stuff like that. But it was like, I thought he was fun. I thought it was a good thing. Like, he changed completely because based off of what he had seen those people do, and I thought that was really neat.
And that's one of the beauties of the comic book that I thought they did capture that, because Rick really does care for these guys. He's always a shithead to them, but he really does care for this team because they are the soldiers in his unit. And even though he has to be like, hey, I'm very much aware some of you may not make it back.
You're pieces of shit.
And you're shitty people.
You're my pieces of shit for right now.
Exactly.
And I'm going to take care of you until we get out of this. He
nails that. By the end of the movie, that's his team, and you're not fucking over his team. Yeah. And that was like, they did so many things
I was waiting for him to pop Waller at the end.
Let me tell you something. Nobody will ever kill Amanda Waller.
Yeah, I know.
She is one of the most hardcore characters.
That was gangster as fuck.
Bro.
Bam, bam, bam.
Man.
Bam.
Yeah, and you call us the bad guys? That was the greatest line that Will Smith spoke in the film when he does that. You call us the bad guys?
I also didn't know that was her. Like, the whole point of them going in there, I had not put 2 and 2 together on that one.
Yeah,
that was a surprise
she was
for me.
who they were pulling out.
Oh, well,
yeah, she
what
creates the fucking problem, and then she has to have the squad that she put together come and fucking get her out of it.
Which is her character. She's always created the problems. Do you not remember Batman, the animated series, where the girl had the psychic powers and she was warping that park around her? She was warping the universe, and she knew, like, Batman goes in there with her, and she dies in his arms. Like, he stays with this little girl until she dies. Who's the person that tells Batman, yeah, we know there's a problem? It's Waller. In that cartoon, Waller has a great history in the cartoons. Yeah. Whether it was on the Batman animated series or whether it was in Justice League, Waller has always been this.
And she's always been a bad bitch. Like,
seriously owned it too. She's
yes.
like, hey, I will shit on you and make you say, give me more. And that's her character. She's basically,
she's a sociopath, but instead of going down the path of like becoming a villain, she went down the path of working for the government and just becoming a fucking agent, and
which makes her deadlier.
Yeah, which makes her far deadlier because she's a psychopath with a fucking authority.
Yep.
Yeah,
standing behind an army.
A sociopath with authority,
and those are the worst ones. Those are the scariest people, and that's what she is. I don't think we're done with Amanda Waller. It will not shock me to see her show up in a Batfleck. I really think that's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I think. As far as, like, Brandon and I got into this discussion, and I know we're probably running out of time on the show, but I'm going to say this. Brandon hit me with something, and I found this to be impressive. He said, we will never get a Heath Ledger, but we haven't seen what Oscar-winning writer Ben Affleck is going to bring us for a Joker and who he's going to cast. Yep. Because we can tell you one thing. The guy is not going to bring a schlub actor in there to play the role. He knows what he's going to be up against. He knows what the fans are expecting. And I don't care what anybody says. In the back of Ben Affleck's mind, Daredevil is still back there. He knows what happened when he went through Daredevil. I think he brings that fire, that feeds into the fire that he brings to Batman.
And out of all the movies out there, that wasn't that bad. Like, there's been bad.
Terrible. It was terrible.
Howard the Duck was terrible.
Howard the Duck was amazing. You take that back. Get out of my house.
And I watched both.
No,
I'm just saying right now, that fucking movie made you be like, is this about bestiality?
Yeah, there was a weird line in that movie when I was a kid that when I watched it as an adult, I was like,
whoa.
My parents failed me. What were they letting me watch?
I cannot believe that just happened. Holy fuck, she just had sex with a duck.
Yeah, like
I
my
was
parents.
very, very young when that movie came out, and I actually liked it because
I
was fucking tiny.
Yeah, that was the thing. I saw it as a young child.
I loved it.
But my parents were probably sitting there, like, I understood the horror that I put my parents through. Because we watched this movie as I watched it as an adult, I was like, I'm not watching this with my grandson. He is not watching this movie ever.
Yeah.
No. Granddad, can I watch that? No. You go to your room and you go say prayers. I will be in here with you.
That my mom rented what was it? Heavy Metal when it came out. When it came out, because she was just like, yeah, this was a great movie. My brother was 13 and I was 11. Okay. She rented it. We watched it. Halfway through, she goes, "This is not the movie I remember. I cannot believe I just let my fucking kids watch this movie."
I watched that movie as a kid,
did those aliens just do a copious amounts of cocaine? I believe they did. That's actually exactly what just happened.
She's about to have sex with that alien. Yeah, this is the movie I watched. Like, I watched it as an adult. There are certain movies from my childhood I've gone back to watch as an adult, and I was like, this is why I'm fucked up in my 40s. My parents let me watch this bullshit right here, and this shaped my young mind to be fucked up by the time I got to
Howard the Duck is
thing.
That thing. Like, that is what Howard the Duck is for me.
Yeah.
That fucked up piece of my childhood.
Not to mention, the guy who was the bad guy in that movie, didn't he turn out to be a pedophile?
I don't know, but he was in a lot of movies back in those days. Very 80s.
Yeah.
I seem to remember there was something, because... I mean, he wound up being on Deadwood anyway, but it was, and Deadwood was after these allegations or this thing came out.
You saved that for another episode. We're not going down that road.
Yeah, no,
tonight.
Yeah, put a pin in that one.
For my own edification.
Just put a pin in that.
I know this show has probably run a little too long, but I'm gonna find. Here's what I want to get from you, JD. You first. Scale of 1 to 100. What was your final score for Suicide Squad?
Ooh. Oh, man. I want to go with 93. I don't know why 93 specifically, but I'm giving it a high one because I didn't go in expecting it to be winning fucking awards.
Right.
I didn't go in for it expecting to be anything like what I experienced in the Marvel, right? I wasn't comparing it to Deadpool. Exactly. I wasn't comparing it to, Civil War or anything like that. I went in expecting that they were going to fuck up Harley Quinn. They were going to fuck up Joker. But you know what? I had faith that it was going to be fun, and it delivered on that and exceeded my expectations. So as a person who likes to go to movies on fucking regular, like, that was what I wanted from that experience. I'm glad I got the cup, the Mondo cup. I'm glad I went on fucking first day that it opened.
Yes.
I regret fucking nothing. I want to go see it again while it's in theaters because it's just, the soundtrack was fucking amazing.
That was the other thing that really bothered me about that fucking movie was they just kept hitting you, pounding you over and fucking over again with song after song that are just way too fucking loud.
Your enjoyment of pounding and my enjoyment of pounding are completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I enjoyed that and asked.
There's
for
a joke
another.
there. I'm not going to make it.
Oh, but I set it up so perfectly for you to knock that shit out of the park.
Which is why I'm over here just laughing my ass off. I was like,
comedy
writing.
I'm making that a 94. I'm going up one.
Okay, so I was right. In 2003, so the guy's name is Jeffrey Jones. He was the guy who was the bad guy in Howard the Duck. Mm-hmm. And in 2003, he was arrested for possession of child pornography and accused of soliciting a 14-year-old boy to pose for pornographic photos.
That's awful. He's also the guy from Ferris Bueller's Days Off.
Yeah. Like, he was in fucking everything in the 80s.
Don't ruin my childhood any more than I've ever been ruined tonight.
Yeah, that we realized that we watched bestiality in a Marvel movie in the 80s. You didn't have to go shit on it any further.
No
Not only did you watch bestiality, but there was a child molester in the film. Enjoy that film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Hey,
what would you rate Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
That's a
he
perfect
was in
segue.
Deadwood, and I fucking love Deadwood. And when I saw him in Deadwood, I was like, fuck is there a goddamn child molester in this fucking movie?
In
Or in the
Deadwood?
show, I should say. In Deadwood.
That makes sense in Deadwood.
It's an HBO show. Fucking nothing holds back,
bro.
right?
I'm serious. Like, at that point, it was like, I expect this guy to be a dirtbag. All these people in Deadwood are dirtbags.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, what were you in there? You were either
7 out of
dirtbag
10.
or dead.
7 out of 10. I will go watch it again.
So you gave it a 70.
Whoa. Did you just say you're gonna go watch it again in the theaters?
Yes.
No kidding.
Now.
DC, you did something right.
Okay, so you also need to bring up your friend Dash, right?
Dash hates this film. Now, my friend Dash and Don, who I love them dearly. I love them dearly. Hated this film.
I distinctly remember seeing pictures of her attempting to set a doll on fire that looked like
She was
Jared
going to
Leto.
set a Jared Leto Joker doll on fire. She was very upset with this film. I asked her to write up a review. She didn't. All she said, it was meh. That was her thing. Joker made me cringe. Was like watching a full movie version of the commercial because every moment had a pop song blaring over it too. She hated everything.
They did show too much in the trailers, but that's editing again.
Yeah,
Fuck you,
once again.
editors. You
But
can
my
ruin
brother,
a goddamn movie.
Okay, Brendan and my brother have a psychic link, which is really creepy sometimes. And Brendan has said shit that I will say to my brother, and my brother said, "Oh my God, I thought the same thing." Then Terrence will say something to me, and I'll come back and tell Brandon, and he's like, "Your brother's a freaking genius." One of the things that he said that has kind of creeped me out about these two is it was kind of along those lines. It was the whole thing about how you felt about the movie. Like, yeah, the songs were blaring, but he said, "Bro, this is a business. They're gonna make millions on that soundtrack."
No shit. That's
He
shit.
said that
That's
soundtrack is
good.
already, like, he said within the first 3 days, I think he said there was some ungodly number for like digital downloads it had done was like weird.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy had the same thing.
I know, but
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the thing too, is that there's a song that's in this movie that was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm pretty confident the majority of the songs that are in this are in a
No,
lot of
actually,
different
there was literally.
You're
I
talking about the one where he
I
said, "I played
listened
a
to the
joke."
Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack
Song,
over
"I
and
played
over
a
and
joke
over
on the
again.
world and found out the joke was on me. It was the song that played when the Joker supposedly bit the dust the first time. I know the song.
No, not that one. It's when they're flying into the city for the first time to go save her, to go
Okay.
save Waller. That song that they're playing when they're flying into the city, that's on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
Okay, so man, there
So
may be two
whoever,
songs.
I can't remember the name of the song or literally anything about it. I just was like, that's on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. And
I'll have to go back. I'm really
I'm pretty
curious
sure
now.
that whoever wrote that song is fucking making a shitload of money right now.
Oh, he's probably enjoying life right now.
Well, whoever owns the copyrights is probably whoring it out for any. No. You can totally use the song.
Yeah, every movie, you
Sign
got
us
it,
up.
take it.
Yeah.
I told you guys already, I gave it an 85, but the things that I needed it to do were to not fuck up Harley and the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want that relationship fucked up. I love the fact that they gave me the original Harley origin story where she chose the life. That was the second thing that they could not fuck up for me because that was a big deal. I wanted Deadshot to be that secondary leader where Flag is the leader, but Deadshot seriously is the leader in the field. They totally nailed that because everybody falls in line behind what Deadshot. If Deadshot says we follow Flag, everybody fell in line with following Flag. El Diablo, they got it right from the comic book.
They nailed that
They
motherfucker.
changed his story, but the
For the better.
change they made was so much better than the comic book.
Yeah.
It was. I had an even deeper emotional connection to him at that point because we understood you really are dealing with some things if you blacked out and you killed your wife and kids.
Yeah.
I would probably not. I don't want to use
And-
these powers ever more.
and-
Ever.
Probably the worst way that you can die, if on a scale of like 1 to 1,000, burning to death is probably one of the worst.
Oh yeah, in an inferno. Like nobody escaped that thing. We saw what he could do. So
Yeah.
I loved it. Those 4 things I wanted were like, okay, just don't fuck these things up. Then the things that you do right is an amazing portrayal of Amanda Waller. Mm-hmm. Captain Boomerang is fucking awesome.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
Then there were the little things like the Ostrander Federal Building when we know John Ostrander, was the original writer for the Suicide Squad back in the day. I kind of thought that was like one of those cool Easter eggs that were like only I geeked out about.
The part whenever she's talking about, when she's giving a breakdown on everyone, when Amanda Waller was talking about like the Joker and Harley, and we have the Queen, and they have that where she's wearing the original outfit and he's wearing the outfit, and it
looks like the cover of Mad Love, and I noticed that. Yes.
And I was just like, and it's even in the pose. I think I squeed.
Yeah, there was something that did amazingly well.
That was amazing. Did you notice in that scene where the Joker's in the where his minion comes in and he's like, "Where is she?" and he tells him where Harley's being kept, and then he starts laughing and he says, "Bring the car around." He starts laughing and lays back. They pan back and there's all that shit that's in the room. There's all the knives and guns and blah blah blah. If you look in the upper right of the corner, there's onesies for like babies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Two of them, which is the exact amount of kids that they have in the scene later on when she has her imagination of her and him being together and having kids.
We know in Batman Beyond.
Yep.
There's
twins.
There's twins. So we know.
Now, when are we going to get a Batman Beyond? We'll make that the next episode.
Dude,
we've already talked about this, and we will bring you back for that episode.
Fuck yeah, man.
We have an episode that has never been recorded, and it was just Brandon and I discussed who would we cast if we were doing a Batman Beyond movie.
As McGinnis, and who would you have as Commissioner Gordon?
McGinnis, I have no fucking clue. We just some unknown kid. We don't know.
It's got to be a kid, yeah, just some random one.
I want the animated crew.
He wants Kevin Conroy.
I want Kevin Conroy
he would be
as
an older
Batman.
man.
I want Mark Hamill as the
really
Joker.
well.
And he would want Mark Hamill to play the Joker.
Literally, just scene for scene, just do the Batman Beyond movie that they did animated, but do it with live actors. That way, Mark Hamill can play...
Who plays Barbara Gordon?
Viola Davis is taken.
I would say let's go with Judi Dench.
Oh, Judi Dench would be great in that.
I would just say if we.
I was just thinking that as well. Actually, I just was like, man, I wonder if she could pull it off. Fuck yeah, she could.
Judi Dench would kill it.
Kill it.
Yeah. We're going to do another episode about this. We have something here.
Way over. We're way beyond.
We are way over. But we thank everybody that hung out with us. JD, thank you for coming in, man.
Anytime. Absolutely.
This was so much fun. Yeah. I knew you were going to bring the heat with this one, man. And I'm so glad you came in. Brandon, hats off to you for not...
Yeah, bravo.
You actually were not the grouchiest man in the universe. You were kind of lovable.
Okay, so one of the things I want to make a promise is that I'll come back and argue PC versus console with you, because that got heated before we started.
We're doing that. There will be a PC show, and I promise you, it will not be this cordial as the show you guys listen to tonight. Brandon's just over there grinning because he knows it's going to...
He was pacing.
I'm going to have to turn my mic game down a bit.
You're going to have to go mobile is what you're going to do. Or you're just going to hear him all of a sudden walk away, and you won't be able to hear anything.
This is going to be awesome. Guys, we always love you and thank you for joining us every time we do this show. Yep. The followers have been growing, and you and I have been geeked about that, Brandon. We got a big surprise that we're working on for you guys.
May I make a plug? Can I
go ahead?
I want to plug Major Tom and DKP's Twitch channel. If you guys
huge friends of the show, and they have plugged our show, and we plugged their show here. You are on there sometimes.
I am now actually an official member of the Chainsaw Ape team. So yes, I will be doing Bro Op Tuesdays, where Major Tom and I will be playing some type of cooperative game, and reviewing it live and being silly and answering questions and things along those lines.
Twitch.tv/Chainsaw Ape.
You know it. Yeah, we are serious. We love everybody on that show, and they have showed us so much love when we started, and they've played a very intricate part in helping us to grow our show. So those are the boys. Those are the homies. JD, hella awesome that you're going to be on there.
I'm really excited about it.
We definitely got to have you on there.
Twitter is JDigdug. My Twitch is JDigdug. Everything is JDigdug. Just
so we can find you. Is that like PSN ID, Gamertag? Okay,
Except
cool.
your email. I typed in your email originally with Digdug in it, and then it returned.
Yeah, that's not mine. My
And then-
my email is like, don't email me, just Twitch me.
Yeah, exactly.
Whisper
I'm not giving away the rest of your email. They can guess
yeah,
at the rest
yeah.
of it.
If
and
you
try
know
to email
me,
you.
it's my last name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
It was really funny. Like it bounced back, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
though I feel
Oh,
if
okay.
it
Never
bounced
mind.
back,
Last
nobody
name.
owns it. I should go fucking like
You
settle
should
that
go
in.
set that up. That's mine.
That's mine. Or you'll be getting emails from Brandon over here. That's hilarious.
Oh man! But and Brandon, we know at Thiazide,
Yep.
which I'm going to tell the story. I've always questioned where did he get at Thiazide, and it comes from the drug hydrochlorothiazide, which is a diuretic which makes you piss. And so he figured, I'm going to make you pissed. And so that's how he came up with at Thiazide.
Also,
expect
you can
nothing
take the
less
piss
from
out of
you.
things.
He can take the piss out.
Well, and he's like, for the people overseas, are you taking a piss?
Yeah, you're taking the piss out of.
Yeah, this guy.
This
This
guy.
guy.
Right here. That's
This
who's
guy.
doing this right now. Coach,
Mr.
it is-
Piss and Vinegar himself has the greatest name on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys both for having me. It was a lot of fun. I feel like I can make you angrier, so please invite me back.
Yes, you will be back soon. Guys, thank you for listening. We love you. Peace. Thanks for listening to the Team Lift Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Join us again next week as we discuss more topics from geek culture. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter page at GoTeamLift, as well as our personal pages at Coach Silky and at Thiazide. You can direct questions and comments to us on our Twitter page, as well as find links to all of our social media outlets. Thank you for listening. See you again next week.